I'm here with Barb Stegemann, and maybe you could tell us, first of all, about why you're here in Montreal and the product that you're here to promote.
Sure, yeah, we're in Montreal, and it's exciting for me because I was born here. It's nice to be back. And we're inviting our friends in the media to help us pick which of 6 variations will become our next scent of peace. And this one is Middle East peace. I believe in the democratic process, and I like to engage people in what we do, and I learn a lot, and I get to share our story, which is one of harmony.
Now, how did you get into this business? Because this was not what you originally set out to do. You were born in Montreal, lived here till you were 8, and then you moved with your family to Halifax. You had some rough times in the teen years. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, our family fell on hard times, and we were on welfare for quite a time with my mom, a single mom, and just learned to work really hard and to have incredible gratitude for my education and my network. I really don't believe in charity. It doesn't work for me. I believe that you have to invite people to the banquet and include them, and it really shaped my work, which is one of trade, working with people as peers in countries like Afghanistan, Haiti, the Middle East, rebuilding. And I think the most important responsibility I have is to use my communication skills to show that rebuilding is more exciting than destruction. Anyone can destroy. Anyone can harm, and it gets a headline. Those people who are using intelligence and decency to rebuild need us to make them a little more exciting. So inviting the media here, I feel, is my responsibility to show what these hardworking people in these countries are doing, and that we really need to see a cavalry of business coming to do trade with nations that are rebuilding to truly reverse the cycle of war and poverty.
You went into PR, public relations. That was your first foray into the business world?
Well, yes, I have a sociology degree. I wanted to be a social worker, but I realized after volunteering with street youth for quite some time that I wasn't made of that cloth. It was a little difficult for me. I'm quite emotional. So my best friend said, you know, change the world with the power of the pen. So I got my journalism degree. And when I moved to British Columbia, I had the switch to PR was very, very easy from journalism. A little boutique firm, and did PR. It was a good life. I had clients like Lululemon, MITACS, the City of Coquitlam. And then one day, our lives went upside down. My best friend was severely wounded, axed in the head in Afghanistan while serving for the Canadian military. And that's where my life took a different direction to support his mission. I promised him in the hospital that I would take on his mission. And then I realized, as a North American woman, I'm not a brave soldier, and I'm not a world leader, and I don't have a way to touch peace. But we own the buying power. Women own the buying power. We own the voting power. And yet we're not harnessing that. So I started by writing a book, which is called The 7 Virtues of a Philosopher Queen. And maybe, Veronica, do you want to grab the book? And I'll just hold it up because it's pretty powerful, going into 4th edition. I took the Stoic wisdom that Churchill and Aurelius and all the boys used when they were going through hardship and challenges. And I made it for women. Because, you know, our moms didn't talk to us about Adam Smith and capitalism or Plato and the Polis. And I feel it's very important that if women are going to harness that voting power and that buying power, that we learn the language. So this is the book. And the fragrance collection is literally the thesis rising up out of it. Maybe I'll grab, Veronica will grab me the orange blossom box, the first one from Afghanistan, please, thank you, to show you that, you know, if you take an industry like the fragrance industry, it's billion-dollar industry. If you harness a small bit of that to buy essential oils from farmers in Afghanistan, like we do, to ensure they're not growing the illegal poppy crop, but rather legal orange and rose, then we can reverse, thank you, some of the issues of poverty. So this is literally the thesis rising up out in action, because it's not about just having words, it's about doing something. I believe that apathy is the enemy, and that we must all speak up when there are injustices on this earth. And I think that even in the Jewish tradition of Elul, making sure that the voices of those past are not gone. And I think being very clear that the message is that no man, woman, or child will be oppressed while we're breathing and we're on this earth. And I think that is something that we have a tremendous responsibility to do. And we take all of our gifts that we're given, whether it's communications or business or whatever that is, teaching, and use your gifts. They're not given to us just to hoard to ourselves. To take those gifts and then continue the tradition of ensuring that no one is oppressed on this earth. And I believe that the more of us that gather and do those sorts of things, then we can truly reverse some of these issues.
Mm-hmm. And so your theme is very interesting. Make perfume, not war. So you're doing something that even the United Nations isn't doing. You're dealing with Afghanistan, you're dealing with Iran, you're dealing with Israel. I mean, that must make you feel pretty good.
Well, it's really beautiful, and it's actually very easy. So I really need to debunk some old myths. You know, people look at countries like even Haiti, and they said, oh, there's nothing there. Well, actually, they make the best vetiver in the world. And having a little patience, waiting through their cholera outbreak and their election, and then we finally got the vetiver, I would have bought it anyway. I wouldn't have cared what it smelled like. I wanted to buy something, because you give people their dignity when you buy from them rather than charity. But as it turns out, it's the best vetiver in the world. So there you go. In life, when you're pushed against the wall and you do something that others may not believe is the right thing to do, and they say, oh, there's nothing there, and all this kind of opinion, you do it anyway, and you will be rewarded. And those principles are Stoic. It's what Churchill used that guided him and guided our world to freedom, right? And that they do work all the time. I'm fascinated by the old Stoic wisdom, and that it works today.
The Israeli fragrance is going to be chosen, or it's going to be chosen soon. It's going to make its debut in September, sometime in September in Montreal, and that's going to be a true peace-building process, if you will, Iran and Israel together.
Together in harmony, and very much, you know, after moderating the panel on the Middle East at the Halifax Security Forum, I wanted to create something that was a statement, that was speaking up for citizens. You know, we're in the age of Occupy and uprisings. And in this age, people want to see businesses that ensure that everybody makes a little bit of money, that's fair and reasonable, the farmer, the supplier, the retailer, and us, that nobody's making extreme amounts. And when citizens are speaking up and saying, I have no problem with this country. In fact, they've never harmed me. I was very inspired by my friend Ronnie Edry, who created the We Love You Iran, We Love You Israel campaign. And from that, and his call to action to all of us to do something, I thought, I've got this sweetie grapefruit, let's blend it with Iran. And I was fortunate enough to source lime and basil from Iran to go with our beautiful sweetie grapefruit from Israel. And I learned a lot about my supplier and his needs in Iran and Israel and the countryside. The sweetie grapefruit is from the Sharon area. The lime and basil from Iran is from the Shiraz area in the Fars province. And I'm learning. And my supplier in Iran is looking for more buyers, so I'll try to help him find more buyers. It's very simple. So these old myths that we've bought into as a society, I feel we need to break down. And, you know, being a woman with a hearing impairment, you know, nothing stops me. You know, it's how you look at the world. I think instead of looking at our impairments, we need to look at our gifts. The minute you know what your gifts are, and that's what they were given to you, was to go share, not to hoard to yourself. That is where you have complete joy and complete success. It's simple. There's nothing complex about it. And that's what I write about in the book, to empower people to really live with meaning while we're on this earth.
All right. Well, I wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
Okay.